Welcome back, my beautiful super soul sisters, and today we are going to talk about Hakuna Matata shoes. Well, I'm from Africa, so why not, hey? So let's just bring a bit of Africa back into the fold here. And I really wanted to talk about it because I think one of the things that we often get dragged down by is all the negativity that keeps happening in our world. I mean, like, life is tough, hey? You know, like sometimes it is a four-lettered word. We've got to be frank here, hey, ladies? I mean, it does happen like that, doesn't it? And, you know, it's hard to maintain that sort of positivity every single day. And you're just like, oh my God, you know, like I've had another side swipe yesterday, or something else has happened this morning, or the kids are playing up, or, you know, the boss has had a go at work, or things haven't gone as well at work in my own business, or whatever it is. You know, we just have that stuff. And one of the things that I really love about, you know, that naivety and that joyfulness, it's quite Pollyanna. You know, when, I don't know if you've ever watched the movie, but with Hakuna Matata, with that whole thing, is that there's always, like, I think it's a little warthog, isn't he? And he's always got a little skip and a step, and he's just like, yay, you know, let's just get on with life and just let's have fun, you know? And it's just like, don't worry, just let it go. Just like, don't get so attached to the outcome. And I think that's one of the things that I would love to sort of bring back into our fold, is like, I think we get too attached to what our expectations are of something, and we make it mean more than it needs to. And that really can add to the pressure that we then therefore experience. So my whole thing is like, how can we get it to a point where we just like focus more on the positive rather than on the negative? It's that whole half is, half glass, where they talk about, they say, you know, is the glass half full or is it half empty? The half empty guys are actually really quite hard work to be with. You know, like, if we're honest, like, they can land up becoming energy vampires, and you've got to ask yourself, do you want to be an energy vampire or an energizer? Like, I think of the Energizer Bunny, you know, I don't know if you get the ads over there, but it's like a little, you know, energizer battery, and it jumps around, and they put it in a bunny and it jumps all over the place, if I remember correctly. And it's just like, do you want to be that energizing? And sometimes people go, oh, it's too over the top, Vicky, like, it's too much, like, you know, it's too gushy, it's too much, it's too over the top. But which would you rather prefer? Like, would you rather have somebody who's, you know, over the top fun, like crazy fun, happy, or would you rather have Mr. Negative or Miss Negativity or Mrs. Negativity, or whatever the case might be? I mean, if you had to have a choice, you're probably going to go with Energizer Bunny. Now, if they're over the top, and it's because they have a need to be like the Enneagram number 4 that I was talking about, where it's like, I have to be in the limelight, and it's a demanding energy, then that's a different kind of don't worry, you know, like, that's not what I'm really talking about. They are doing that to serve the ego, to serve the needs of being in the limelight, which is the Enneagram number 4 type, if they're unbalanced. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go watch that in the channel, in the VICKI JANE channel. And it could be that, you know, they have a need for the control, which could be an 8. It could be that, you know, they have a need to, I don't know, just be, there's some kind of trauma that's going on for them, where they feel that they get too needy because of that attachment trauma that I was talking about. So when you join the Facebook group, you can get an attachment style e-guide, which is completely free, that you can get, that can tell you, you know, what your particular style type is. And there's a particular couple actually in there that have that need for the attention. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. You know, that becomes a negative energy. That becomes the draining energy. What I'm talking about is like being positive. Like, even if the proverbial is hitting the fan, which it's going to, that is life. You know, it is just what it is, isn't it? So we have to, like, the way I look at it is like, we can make it worse than it is, or we can deal with what is. And I'm not saying do the ostrich shoes. I'm not saying do the ostrich shoes. The ostrich shoes is where you stick your head in the sand, and sometimes you can do that, like, and pretend it hasn't even happened. But if you actually do need to address something, you need to address it. But my thing is, Don't hang on to it, and then get back to the place of positivity as fast as you possibly can. So, you know, like sometimes, like it's like I look at some people and, you know, like there's the super positive and then there's the super negative. And I've got people in my life where honestly it's like they're born with smiles on their faces. Like I can think of one family particularly, and they're incredible. Like the mum and dad are always smiling. Like I don't think I've ever seen them cranky, maybe not smiling, but it's kind of a neutral. They don't frown. They don't have all the frown marks here, you know. They don't have all that intense stress and emotion as a result. And they've got 2 kids, and those 2 kids are like born with smiles on their faces. It's almost like it's a genetic thing that's been passed on to these kids. It's just incredible. Like every single photo I've ever seen of them, they're just laughing, they're having fun, they're making the most of their life, and everything's on, you know, life is good. It's like Hakuna Matata, there's no worries. Like it's just like, and look, I know for a fact that there's been some stuff that's gone on for them, and it's like, yep, okay, deal with it. Right, let's get back to how can we enjoy life. And it's that whole thing of also what you focus on is what you attract. So if you're constantly looking at the negative, then that's what you're going to get. If you're constantly looking for worry, your Rasta's shoes and your glasses are going to find more negative. So we've got to get past that place of, okay, you know, I'm going to sit and I'm going to wallow and I'm going to make it. It's like it's almost like a disease. You know, it festers. It's like a wound, isn't it? It eats away at the person, and then it can overflow to the energy to everybody else, and then they become an energy vampire if they get too sucked into the house. You know, now the glass is like practically empty, but it might actually be half full, but they're just still going, oh no, but it's going to run out and it's going to be worse and it's going to be you know, yada da 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 da. I'm going, no, how about we, you know, have our Hakuna Matatas on. We go, look, it's not ideal, you know, and that's where you want your hardener and your softener shoes on, where you're starting to go, right, let's get rid of the hard talk of like, no, it can't be, no, it mustn't, all that negativity kind of like heavy duty kind of words that you use in your everyday language, and swap it out for softeners. Like it's like, do you know what? Like a friend of mine always says that to me. I'm big on my softeners, and she says, you know, like if she asked me, she said, you know, have you had a great day or whatever? And I'll go, you know, oh, it hasn't been great, but you know, I'm working on it. Or it's like, you know, she'll go, oh, that means that it's been a really bad day. In her book, that's what that means, you know, because I don't let my mind go there. I don't want to get wallowed out in the sorrow. So there's sometimes where something does hit the fan and it's quite big. I had one quite recently, and I was just like, it took me about a day to come right. And I was like, do you know what? This mindset is not helping me. It's not getting me out of the wallow pit, is not going to help and serve me find a solution. It's not going to help me take the next step up. It's not going to help me move in the direction that I want it to. So I you know, I allow myself the grace of X amount of time, and you can literally set a time on it. Like you can say, okay, I'm allowed to do this. I kind of call it like, you know, the 30-second rule that you have when you drop food on the floor. You know, you pick it up. Not that I'm promoting that, but you know, there's some people go that, you know, oh, it's okay, you can still do it. You know, maybe you give yourself a set amount of time where you're allowed to wallow, and then you go, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to wallow. I'm not going to think about that anymore. I'm now going to do, and your brain, your ego and your parrot shoes will kick in, and they'll say, hey, no, I want you to stress out about this financial thing, or this you know, relationship thing, or this work thing, or this client thing, or this project thing, whatever. And you'll go, I'm going to give you X amount of time, whatever I need to, but only what is required, and then I'm done. And then step back out of that and do your, you know, some people call it the Pollyanna shoes sort of thing, but Hakuna Matata, like let's focus on the positive. Where can we go? And it's like that whole thing of you know, the Secret, the movie, that what you focus on is what you attract more of. And Esther Hicks talks about this as well. Bruce Lipton talks about it too, where he has scientifically has proven that, you know, your energetic vibrations on a quantum level, literally literally do attract positive. So positive will attract positive, negative and negative, and so forth. So he's actually proven that. And it's like, and our thoughts are electrical charges. So if you literally think of it from a scientific point of view, what do you want to suck in, more negative or more positive? And that literally is going to vibrate at a way that will align those things with you. So if stuff is rocking up in your life repeatedly, and this is what I do find, is that those who have the negative mindset often have multiple negative, ongoing, recurring negative things happening for them. And that's because they've aligned themselves to that. Whereas if you've got the Hakuna Matatas on, which is, you know, let go of the worries, let's focus on the positives. If you're forcing with your, you know, like your Rasa shoes, like look for the positive, say, you know, be aware of whatever's triggering you, you know, cut like that parrot shoes that I was talking about in that video. Is that, you know, recognize what's setting you off, what's getting you to play those records, scratch those records so often that actually they don't play anymore. But you have to know what's triggering it, what's causing it, right? So it's taking that conscious decision of, I'm going to put on my Hakuna Matata shoes today. I'm not going to let that worry me, or, you know, I'm going to worry about it for X amount of time, or I'm going to focus on the negative for X amount of time. And then I'm going to go, no, I'm done. And if the parrot shoes kick back in and go, hey, you know, we want more attention, you go, no, do you know what? No, I'm not going to give that to you. I'm actually going to do positive. I'm going to go Hakuna Matata. I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to focus on the positive. Thank you very much. I don't have time for that in my life. And that's what you do. So I know it sounds simple, but really when it's all a conscious decision, you have to understand what triggers you, what kicks you in, and then you can decide which way you're going to go. And you are then back in control, not on that automatic pilot that pretty much most people are running on every single day. So let's break that pattern. Let's get you in your shoes, on your path, your way. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like, you know, thumbs up, subscribe, and join us in the Facebook group if you're not already in there, because it's completely free and you'll meet like-minded ladies just like you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Namaste.